Right. So this is the kind of response that you're going to get if you say anything that's not condescending and belittling and cruel and hateful to me. Niece Lone Wolf is accusing this person, Sally, who I don't know of being many different people. And Sally is trying to explain to them that they are who they are. Literally, they are who they are. It's frustrating. You know, it's frustrating. And Niece saying, well, to address your comment, accomplice doesn't mean you did it. It means you helped cover it up. No, actually, if you're an accomplice to murder, it means you helped the murder. And that's what you're accusing me of. You're not saying that I was accomplice to a cover-up. You're saying I was an accomplice to a murder. I was not. I was held captive by a man after he murdered a woman. There is a difference between being an accomplice and being a captive. And that's why there were no charges filed against me, because I did not commit the crime. The man who committed the crime admitted to the crime. She says, oh, I have suspected for a long time that you had some kind of group somewhere. Thanks for being unable to not tell on Adrasdea about that. I do not have a group. I do not have any friends. Literally, the only people I have in this world are YouTube and Facebook and Recolor, which these are all places that you know about, all places that y'all have infiltrated. They're desperate to take away any kind of group because their main goal from the beginning, their main goal has been to push me to kill myself. And in order to do that, they need to completely isolate me. And the thing that they don't understand is they already have. I am already completely isolated. I was already completely isolated before they started attacking me. And then they came in and they took some people away. But I was already by myself. I have already felt alone for a very long time. So their attempts to isolate me aren't working because I've already isolated myself. I already don't see my friends as friends. I already see myself as completely alone in this world with no family and nobody that I can fully trust. That's why you're not able to find my people, niece. I have no people. I am a broken, shattered human being that y'all will not leave alone until I kill myself. That's what's happening. And that's what people need to see. And they will one day. Just not in time to help me. But I know that one day after I die, this channel will be seen. And it will all be known that I was telling the truth. For so long, against all of these lies, against all of these people, I have been telling the truth. And the reason they can't find my group to take them away from me and push me further into isolation so I'll do it is because I'm already isolated. And I don't think they've ever dealt with somebody who was as isolated as I am. Because all of their attempts are failing. And so they just have to make bigger threats. If you go to Adonis Paul page, you'll see them threatening to put me in jail. Literally saying, well, I wonder who's going to go to jail next. And putting my name out there as if there's a crime that they could charge me with other than being sad. I have said it before, and I will say it again. If there is a crime that I have committed that you have evidence of, You should go to the authorities, not YouTube or Rumble or Twitch or Twitter. The police, the authorities. You're claiming I am a suspect in a murder case. That is not the kind of accusation you throw around online without first going to some sort of detective and finding out if there's any validity, anything that they could research. The reason that they don't actually go to the authorities is because they know for a fact that I did not commit the crime. And they know that for a fact because there's already been a trial. And because the man who committed the crime confessed to the crime and is in prison. And the reason that he's in prison, the reason that he confessed, the reason the police knew anything about any of it is because I went to the police. See, Adonis Paul didn't go to the police. I went to the police. Me, this bitch. I went to the police and I turned in a murderer and I testified at his trial and I put him in prison. So please tell me what you're going to do to have me arrested and put in prison for those actions. I committed no crime, and it's already been found in court that I committed no crime because the man who committed the crime was found guilty. And they didn't charge me with anything. They had nothing to charge me for because I didn't commit the crime. This man lied to me. He threatened me. He told me that if I did not get in his truck, he would kill my grandmother. At that point, I had been taken captive. That is what it's like to be taken captive when somebody puts a knife or a gun at you and tells you, move or somebody will die. And it might not be you. It might be the only person in this world you care about. So yeah, I went with him because he was threatening to murder my grandmother if I didn't. They've already contacted this man in prison as well. Like, they've gone over this for so long. They contacted a man that I put in prison. They wrote him letters begging him to send them letters back saying that it was me, that he was innocent. They were pleading with him to just say that, and he never did. He also never appealed. He's been in jail for, 10 years now? Longer? He went in 2013 and never once tried to appeal. Do you know why he never once tried to appeal, tried to get a new trial, tried to say, she should have been charged, I did justice? Do you know why he never did that? Because he knows he's guilty. And he knows he got lucky. Because the original jury wanted the death penalty. And the judge overturned their ruling and gave him life. And he knows good and well that if he pushes his luck and tries for another trial, he will get death because they wanted it to begin with. This is the man that they're defending, that they're trying to replace in prison with me. They said that. In the first year this happened, they said that they were going to have him released and they were going to put me in his place. And they were not going to rest until he was free and I was locked up. And they're still threatening, oh, who's going to jail next? I wonder. Go ahead and go to the police. I will happily speak to them just like I did in 2009 and I did in 2013. I will happily speak to the police. I will give them everything I have in my brain. Every bit of truth, every bit of information, everything that I told them over and over and over again all those years ago, I will tell them again. And it will change nothing because I did not commit the crime that Adonis Paul has accused me of committing. But I'm going to be accused of it for the rest of my life. And they're never going to take those allegations anywhere further than YouTube. They're never going to say, look, all right, it's been 5 years. We can't keep alleging with no evidence. Let's take it to court. They're never going to do that because they know they can't, because they know that I didn't actually commit the crime. The only crime I actually committed was writing a book about my abusive family that pissed off some rich people. And those rich people got the help of these cyberbullies to slander and defame me and push me to kill myself, to hurt me, so that I won't write any more books talking about them. And they have tried very hard to kill me. And if I hadn't lived the life that I've had, it probably would have worked. But by the time they got to my life, I was already dead inside. And they have nothing else to take from me. All they can do is cause more pain, which they do on a daily basis. These people have a group of thousands. Adonis Paul has over 10,000 followers. The people who want me dead have thousands of people in their group. And they're desperate. Their fear with me is that I might continue to have one person on my side. Just one. So anybody that posts anything slightly reasonable will be attacked. They'll call you the most horrible things they can think to call you. And they'll accuse you of helping me. They'll accuse you of sending me money. They'll accuse you of being a pedophile or a murderer yourself. They'll threaten to hurt you. They'll threaten to attack you. They'll accuse you of being other people who you don't even know, who they don't like. The people they're accusing you of being is always other people that they don't like. They're persistent in the idea that I must have a group out there somewhere they can take away from me. They've tried very hard. See, when this all started, they messaged people on my Facebook. Anybody who they thought might be talking to me. They messaged my neighbors that grew up near me, who validated what I said. My neighbor is the one that told me the story of my dad and my older sister pelleting their house with my little brother's dirty diapers for an argument that they were having. That's the kind of people my family were. And it was my neighbor that told me about that because I wasn't there for it. I was at my grandmother's so much I didn't get on it. I didn't actually see a whole lot of the shenanigans that went on. But I had a neighbor that was kind enough to talk to me and be honest. And after she was honest, she was attacked. They threatened her kids. They threatened her job. They were sending messages saying, we know where your kids go to school. All because she told the truth. It's a dangerous group of people. And one day people are going to see that. It's not going to be in time to do any good. But they're dangerous. And the things that they accuse of, they will never show you a single shred of evidence for what they're accusing me of. They'll happily go over court documents for another person's trial. But the trial of Kenneth McBride is not the trial of Mary Barone. That's the cold hard truth of the entire thing. Every time they go over court records from the Kenneth McBride murder trial, they are going over the records of his trial, not mine. I was a witness that testified. I was not on trial. I was not charged. I was not seen as a culprit or an assistant or anything like that. I was a witness. I was the one that went to the police and helped them find him. And it's just frustrating. It's frustrating because I know the truth and I can show the truth. I can literally show court documents and news reports that never say that I was charged or put in prison ever. I can show that. I can show my own criminal history and show that I've never been arrested for it, never been in prison for it, never, or anything like it. And it doesn't do anything to silence their allegations. If you have strong allegations that somebody murdered somebody, and you have no proof other than the fact that the murder occurred and they witnessed it, maybe do a little bit more research before condemning a woman to death, which is what you've done by telling your thousands of followers that I committed this crime. You've condemned me to death. I will never be able to live a normal life with people believing I committed this crime that I had nothing to do with. And the only reason they believe I committed the crime is because Adonis Paul and Original Owl and their friends told people I did, with no evidence to back it up. And they later came out and admitted that they lied, and it doesn't matter because now they're just accusing me again. They're just going to keep with the accusations because their fans don't like hearing that they've lied. And I just have to live with that for the rest of my life. These lies about me that have no grounds. That I can easily prove every one of them is a lie just by showing the court records that don't have my name. And if you ask them why I'm not in prison, if everything they say is true, why am I not in jail? They come up with the most insane arguments that also they have no evidence for. They'll say, well, the prosecutor made a deal with her. No, they didn't. There was never any deal with me. I was a witness. You do not make deals with witnesses. That's common sense. You don't need to make a deal with a witness. A witness is not on trial. A witness is never going to be going. You don't make deals with witnesses. Their arguments don't make sense, and it doesn't seem to matter. And it's infuriating that it doesn't seem to matter. Why don't facts matter? Because this group has over 10,000 people that can, as a group, decide what facts they want to believe and what facts they don't. And then spread those false facts to hurt people. They're going to keep telling you I'm a murderer. Keep telling them to prove it, please. Keep asking them for the evidence, not of Kenneth McBride's crimes, but of mine. Keep telling them to go to the police if they have this evidence. I'll keep telling you to do it. Go to the police. And they tell me that that's gaslighting and that's manipulating because I know the police can't do anything. No, they can't because there's no crime. That's the literal point. The literal reason the police can do nothing is because nothing happened for them to do anything. So it's not gaslighting and manipulating to tell you that if you have these allegations, you should go to the proper authorities. It's just common sense. It's what you're supposed to do. But they write it off as being gaslighting and manipulating because I know the truth. Yes, I do. I do know the truth. And I'll continue screeching it for as long as I can. Because I didn't commit the crime that they've accused me of. The man that killed Roberta Laws lied to me about a whole lot of things. He lied to me about his name. For one thing, when they tell you that I was shacked up with a pedophile, I didn't know what he was. Because when somebody gives you a fake name, you can't look up their history to find out who they are. So he gave me the name of Brian McDaniels. And Brian McDaniels did not have a criminal record. Kenneth McBride did. But I wouldn't find out what his real name was until after the murder, when I found his ID in a drawer. He didn't officially even tell me what his real name was. That's why I was shacked up with a pedophile. They gave me a fake name and I didn't know who they were. These are the things that they want me condemned for. They want me to kill myself because of a crime that happened over a decade ago that I did not commit. That was committed against me. I had no choice but to get back in his truck or he would have killed my grandmother. I didn't want to go back with him that day. I wanted to just stay with my grandmother and end the relationship, and he wasn't going to let me. None of you were there. Not a single one of you that is alleging and accusing. Not a single one of you was there. I was. I lived through it. I survived it, and I put him in prison. So I think I know just a little bit more. To further my point that you can't look somebody up if they've given you a fake name, I can't find out what Adonis Paul has done in his past, because Adonis Paul is a fictional name. So this man who insists that another man would not have given me a fake name is saying this while using a fake name. And I know immediately their argument is going to be, well, your fake name is Adrasdea. It's also connected to my real name. The people harassing me know my real name because it's connected to my fictional name in such a way that you can easily find out who I am. The people harassing me, on the other hand, do not make it that easy. They have their fictional names, and they don't have anything that connects them to real live human beings, aside from other people that have come out talking about them to get revenge for what they've been saying about them. Because Adonis Paul wants to stay anonymous. That's why his face is not in any of his videos. That's why his name is not in his videos. Kenneth McBride did not want me to know his past. So when we met online through email correspondence, he gave me the name Brian. And for the first, 6 months I knew him, I thought his name was Brian, because I had no other information to go on. This is difficult for them to comprehend, even though they also use fictional aliases to get away with doing whatever they want without people looking into their backgrounds.